Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, and Pisces, today it is your reading. So I actually started channeling yesterday afternoon, and I had all of this like tumultuous energy and this beautiful, like, the best way I can describe it is this braided energy. It just was like all these energies just interwoven together in this beautiful, abundant braid. And I got the message of completion and communion and cooperation and co-creation and all of these C words. And then I got repetitive threes, like the number 3, and then 222 or 22 with master builder and archetype numbers, or energy rather. And I heard new channels of creativity are coming through with this inner calm within your center. And it just was this constant alliteration with the letter C. So the letter C may be significant in some way, shape, or form in your life right now. And I thought that was really interesting because I was getting all these C alliterations and words, and C numerologically equals the number 3. So this reading is about your current archetypal phase. And I have had a couple of different signs. Oh, by the way, my new ghost cup. I love it. Anyway, I've had a couple of signs in which they have had like doubles of, say, like the angel on your shoulder or the devil on your shoulder or double archetypal energy. But no matter what I did, these cards came out and you have double of everything. And I know your sign is represented by the 2 fish. And so I kind of had inquired with spirit, is this about that energy? And it is and it isn't. So I actually got the message of what once felt trapped or confined by the light of the sun and moon seen together now is free to swim into abundant energy. So I don't necessarily understand this, but what I got from it is there's been something within you, some feeling, some emotion, some gift, some awareness, something. And it's going to be different for each one of you. But there's been something that you have felt has been trapped or confined into a specific area of your life. And when I got the message of by the light of the sun and the moon seen together, I was actually shown the moon during the day. So where I'm at right now, you can actually see the moon in the daytime sky as it is going through its setting phase, because the sun shines enough so that you can actually see the silhouette of the moon. It's not a new moon phase yet. We're still moving our way towards that, but you can actually see the moon in the sky right now. And I thought that was very interesting because when we think of the sun and the moon together, oftentimes we think of that new moon energy, but your message is about seeing them both and they're in the sky together, but that doesn't mean that they are in that new moon phase. So it's about you coming to a point in time in which you can see the sun and you can see the moon and they're both in the sky, and it is the time for you. So when you have that moment, and that moment will come when it's time to come, when you have that moment, there will be this, what I feel is this release energy. And then I saw the 2 fish of Pisces, and they were swimming in a continual doubled lemniscat or infinity sign. And I saw them doing this through the cards, as though no matter what combination you do with these cards, no matter whether you take the top archetype and you have the bottom demon and the top angel or what have you, it doesn't matter the order in which you place the cards or the combination of energies with that, all of them, all the energies will remain together and continuous. So they're all one energy, even though by some appearances, they look like separate energies. And if you guys can hear, I've got Willow whining or essentially demanding to go OUTSIDE. So I'm going to pause real quick and go let her. All right, I am back. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I know it's literally like from 1 second to the next for you guys, but for me, it takes some time. All right, so we're going to go back to this double lemniscat energy. So I got present past life. What was, is, will be, and will pass, PASS, to the past, PAST, to come again. So there seems to be this repetition energy, but the thing is I didn't get a repetition energy necessarily that means that you're going through something that is exactly the same. First, I want to show you the image of the double lemniscat. So this is what I got here for it, and it was giving me some like DNA and chimera and unity vibes. And then all of a sudden, I was prepping for your reading and I needed to do a computer reset or restart from an update. And when that was done and my computer started booting back up again, I had to do this software setup for my program, my like Microsoft Windows program thing. And I got this interesting message. So for me, a lot of the things that occur in my life when I am prepping for an energy reading for a specific sign tends to tie in with the sign's message and energies. In this case, it was literally your energy was in a way confined to this area because it didn't spread beyond that into much else in my life. It just kind of stayed here. And when I did this computer reset, I got a message from your ancestors. And very, very specifically, your ancestors from a past life. So they may not be ones that are like blood ancestors in this life, but you may resonate with them. So say, for instance, you resonate very strongly with Celtic traditions, but you don't have any Celtic genetics in your history. This is a dormant part of your soul awakening in this life to remind you that you are more than just the father line and the mother line. You contain a soul that has lived many lives in many families, through many generations, through many places in this world and in many other worlds. And as this comes up, we go through these reset moments where it can feel like we are restarting something or going through a cycle similar. But really what we're doing is we are resetting our programming. So sometimes the message that I got directly was sometimes our transformations mean we have to reestablish an operational mode. And though change may not be immediately evident, in time the new flow becomes clear. The sight of life in rhythm with the beating of true hearts, and the start no longer matters, as it never ended, nor shall it. It continues, change to harmony and melody in perfect rhythm. So Pisces, in a big way, what I'm getting here is that your life right now is in this kind of unknown. It's unknown, but it feels very familiar because your soul recognizes it. Your soul understands that there have been steps that you have taken in this life that have aligned with past lives. And those past life energies are now becoming very, very present in your life. So you may feel as though you're going through like Groundhog's Day or having things repeat, but they are not necessarily things that you have actually gone through in this life. They may be intuitions that you've had, but not necessarily actual physical experiences. And so you can feel this change. You can feel what was once confined is starting to push back from its confinement. And that's why Spirit gave that very specific when the sun and the moon are seen in the sky. And it's in the sky during the day, clearly because you're seeing the sun and the moon. And that's the thing. The moon can be seen during the day, but we don't realize that we see the sun at night when the moon is shining brightly. We don't always remember the fact that the light that we're seeing from the moon is not the moon's light itself. It's a reflection of the sun. So the sun is always ever present. But we don't always see them both separately. This is what that message was. Understanding. You're seeing your past life. You're seeing your present life. You're seeing how they tie together and link together and flow together. So the story, the lesson, the wisdom, the gifts, the mission, the path, it's still the same, but it is changed. So we have 2 archetype cards, and then we have the Angel Tarot, which is meant to represent your conscious influences, and the Demon Tarot, which is meant to represent your unconscious influences. And I thought it was really funny or interesting how Spirit had me set it up, because it's like every conscious influence has an unconscious influence, and every unconscious influence has a conscious influence. And the reason why it is this way is because there is this duality coming into form, this past present life coming into form, or present past life coming into form. And it is blending the Hound here with the Scholar. It is blending this higher awareness, higher knowledge, higher wisdom, higher understanding with your base innate instinctual urges. So on one side, the conscious influences we have are the Empress or Mihail, which is God, Father, the generous. And this talks about fertility, fruitfulness, but it also talks about peace amongst married couples. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be married. You can actually, and I'm actually getting a message, because the intention that I set with these readings are to reach individuals, to help you guys individuate and embrace your uniqueness. So it doesn't mean that I don't want people who aren't in, or who are not in relationships. I'm married myself. I take a lot of what I learned from your readings and from a lot of different things, and I apply it not just to myself, but how I am in my own relationships. Rather than projecting it onto the person that I'm in a relationship with, it's about me and my role in that. And Spirit's being really kind of firm in with this married couple, this is about a union of energies within yourself and how that applies to the outside world. Now, the unconscious influence on this conscious influence is Adramelech. And this talks about how he is a twin, and he and his twin, who is a moon goddess, he's the sun god, and she's a moon. A moon goddess. It talks about how he's represented by a mule and peacock feathers. So he's represented by an infertile creature, because a mule is known to be infertile. And I just saw 1333 on my clock, which was actually the exact time that I started channeling your messages yesterday. So that may be significant. That translates into 1:33 p.m. for anybody who doesn't know 24 hours or military time. But he's a sun god. And in demonology, he becomes a ruling demon of hell. So your unconscious influences of this is this feeling like you were this superior being. And over time, that superiority or that elevation, I want to go with elevation, because I don't like using superiority and inferiority, because we really don't have that. We perceive ourselves to have that, but that doesn't actually exist. In the realm of spirit, there is no higher and lower. We're all one. That doesn't mean that energies don't present themselves on a low frequency or a high frequency. It means that we're one. We're equal. There's equanimity amongst spirit, but some spirits have to fulfill a specific point in their journey, in their mission amongst these energies in order for them to elevate up. Now, with this, unconscious influence impacting your conscious influence. This part of you that you're trying to find peace within all the different parts of yourself. You're trying to find this fertile, creative, abundant nature within yourself, which is the message that you guys got. There is this fear, and this is that past life. So this is the present. This is your past life. And the past life is starting to infiltrate in the background, in the shadows. That confinement energy is starting to come out. And the thing is he didn't have a choice. He was demoted from a sun god to just like, you're going to be a ruler of hell in some area. And we're going to confine you to this role. And when we carry memories similar to this, where we understand that, humanity has been subject to massive upheavals and changes and growth and progress. But in a lot of ways, we've also stagnated in a lot of areas. In this case, there's a part of you that was part of that stagnation, part of that we're going to take you and transform you in order to fit a certain storyline that humanity needs to walk through. And now you're moving into this beautiful divine feminine energy, this very soft, creative, fertile, nurturing divine feminine energy. And you're learning about the actual generosity and abundance that is within your innate spirit. And deep down underneath that, there's this tiny little box. I'm seeing this tiny little box, very similar to Pandora's box, but without the chaos and all of that. In that box is this wisdom of what it was like to be elevated as a god and how that fall felt. And so when we're working with this abundant fertility, we can be fearful in this life and not understand why we're fearful. Why would I be so afraid to feel this creative, to feel this abundant, to feel this possible or possibility within myself? Why would I be so afraid of this when it is so tangible within me and within my life? Because at one point in time, you believed that there were loyalty. There were things and people and a way of being that was loyal to who you are. And over time, you have learned that not everybody keeps their promises. Not everyone maintains their loyalty, not even spirit, not even this world. Not when we are in a specific form. Spirit is always loyal to our heart and our soul. Spirit is always loyal to our truest essence, because our truest essence is nothing more or less than a projection of spirit. It's a part of spirit, a piece of spirit. We are born of it. So in this way, that part of us, spirit is always loyal to, but the persona that we wear, so for instance, Monica, that's my persona in this life. That persona does not always have that level of loyalty. That's why we feel like spirit challenges us. Spirit does. Why? Because spirit is working for us to awaken within ourselves that part of our essence so that we can embody it, embrace it, accept it, no matter how it comes to be, and move forward in our life in that essence, in that energy, with the faith and the trust and the knowingness that there is that bulletproof loyalty from spirit, because we are that loyal to ourselves and that part of ourselves that exists in the spiritual. So this is asking you to kind of look deeper into yourself. This is what is coming up out of that confinement, the scholar, investigation, research. So sometimes we just simply follow. I'm getting a lot of Cancerian energy, not necessarily as a person or even in your natal chart, but more down to the mythology of how the crab became a constellation. And the crab became a constellation because it attacked Heracles per Juno's urging, and did so with this false narrative, this false understanding of who Heracles was. And that false awareness and blind loyalty rather than doing investigation, rather than researching it, rather than asking questions, when you blindly walk through life saying, I'm loyal to this person, or I'm loyal to this, or what have you, oftentimes the one who is blindly loyal is the one who is hurt and harmed the most. So in that way, that unconscious influence that you're dealing with right now is the one that has fallen the farthest. Now you're feared. Now the beauty that you carry with you and the face that you have to bring forth is one of infertility and kind of cockiness. That's just the energy that I get from this. And so I'm not saying that you're doing that. I'm saying that other people may perceive you that way. That is someone else's perception. Where once you were a bright, shining beacon, now they see you as a denizen of hell. That piece of you that's awakening is literally linked to a past life. And that's why it may seem like the people around you are viewing you this way, and it's impacting your faith in yourself and your abundance, and whether you actually have that loyalty, because have you really stepped into your essence and embodied it? And no one can answer that but you. So the unconscious influence of where you're at right now with this hound and the loyalty and wondering what is chaining you, what promises are chaining you, and what promises are freeing you, we have Cam. And Cam is a fallen angel or president of hell, but it never says where in hell he's a president of, but it does say that he has 30 military units under his command. It's represented by a blackbird in the thrush family, and sometimes as a man with a sword. But he, in this card, is both. Because don't separate me into two. So unconsciously, there is this understanding that people are going to piece you apart. They're going to separate you. But you have far more wisdom and far more connectivity to the natural world than people realize. Now, the thing about Cam is he could see the future, and he practiced ornithology, or the study of bird patterns. And because he was a blackbird, he actually relied on the blackbirds in the world to see things and report back to him. So he was a carrier of secrets, a carrier of wisdom, a carrier of knowledge. He had the help to go and investigate and research. So this is sitting in your unconscious, this ability to future prognosticate. You can look towards the future and you can see, when are you going to need to go more towards nature and take flight and move to a new location or a new energy or a new mindset, or have that reset? And when do you need to hold to your sword and say, no, this is my truth and this is what I'm holding to? And is the sword worth it? Sometimes we put all our money on a sword and our own instincts go and crash it completely down. Sometimes our loyalty is what chains us. And sometimes banking on the loyalty of others and the promises of others is what leads us to not trusting in the future unless it is something that we can absolutely guarantee step by step. So here you have this conscious influence on that energy. So you're looking towards the future. Why? Because you are fully aware that there is a transformation, that you are in a place of adversity, but there is a calming, a consolation, a healing. There is this peace to be won. So you have the 8 of Cups in IAL, and it's the card 67, and it says, God, the pleasure of man's children. And it gives a lot of Aquarian energy here. And the 8 of Cups is usually about walking away. Sometimes a transformation is us walking away. Sometimes it's us walking forward and realizing that as we're walking forward, the path is turning back on itself. And we're going back through this same kind of flow and energy and lessons. It may feel familiar. More in this energy that I am feeling is that it feels familiar, but not as though it's like deja vu. You haven't necessarily experienced it, but it is that familiar. But it's not quite deja vu because it feels more like a really ongoing process where it has been going for, I'm hearing 12 or 13 months already. So a year, little over a year for some of you. And I find it really interesting that today's date is 10/24. And then I looked at the clock and 10/24 is the actual time during the day. So that date might be significant, or something may happen at 10/24 somewhere at some point in your life. When I see those repetitions and they just kind of pop out at me, especially during readings, it's something that I always feel like it is for the collective I'm reading for. All right, I'm going to take a sip of coffee here. Now, we're not going to break these down any further because there is a lot here that I feel like is just it's still awakening within you. Spirit wants you to get curious, wants you to look into it, wants you to feel as though you are safe to do so. So we're going to get 5 cards here, and we're going to address what you don't see about this archetypal phase, what challenges you about the phase, where you can find help, how you can better connect with your higher self, how you can better connect with your shadow. And then finally, these cards over here are messages from your spirit team, from your ancestors, from your past life. That energy is just so strong here. There's a question card and a symbol card and then an oracle card. These I will not be divining. They are here in order for you to introspect if you choose. So what you don't see, what challenges you, where help can be found, connecting with the higher self and connecting with your shadow. Okay. So let's see here. First of all, what you don't see about this current archetypal phase, we have the 5 of Swords with defeat, and this is Venus and Jupiter in Aquarius. So they have the Sectum Sempra spell here. And with Sectum Sempra, that is a spell that was developed by Professor Snape, and he developed it in retaliation. When we think that we have to fight back, when we have to retaliate, are we doing that because we feel defeated? Now, the 5 of Swords for me is that it's the card of picking your battles. And when we think about the fact that we need to pick our battles, we need to choose what is right and what is wrong for us, sometimes we can feel like, well, I'm already defeated, so I have to do this or I have to do that. But this card with the astrological energies that are on here, this card is actually asking you to look at that reactive nature and ask yourself, how can I respond? If I feel defeated, do I feel as though I have to react to defeat those who have come at me, who have made me feel defeated? Why do I feel defeated? Am I able to rise up from this? Am I able to grasp that we're all doing the best that we can? Can I love myself more? Can I expand on the love that I have for myself and for my fellow man and realize that we all go through these changes? We're all subject to change at any given point in time, at every given point in time. And so what I want to do is I want to look at what it is that I'm loyal to, what mindset, what thought process. So what you don't see about this is it's challenging you to ask yourself, do I feel defeated? Is this the energy I'm in? What challenges you about the phase, this is what you don't see about it, what challenges you, and these two are kind of interacting together, is the sun, the card 19, and it has a phoenix. So what challenges you is to recognize that it doesn't matter how beautiful your feathers are, no matter what happens, no matter what comes, sometimes we're going to get burned by the light. And the light only burns us in order for us to transform through the ashes of what was. So we can feel defeated. We can feel like life is just kicking us and kicking us and kicking us, but that's not always the case. Sometimes we're being motivated to move into a new phase. Start asking different questions. Start moving ourselves into the light and say, you know what? No matter what it is, I'm going to walk through these flames. I'm going to fly into the eye of the sun and I'm going to let it burn me because I know without a doubt that it will not defeat my soul, for my soul will be reborn from the ashes. I shall be reborn from the ashes. So help can be found, we have here with the 10 of Cups. And it says repletion. Help can be found when we give ourselves time to rest, to replenish. And this is Piscean energy. When you allow yourself time within your own energy field, within your own body, within your own self, within your own soul, that is where help is found. So now you're connecting with your higher self and connecting with your higher self and your shadow. You have 2 aces. You have the Ace of Discs for your higher self and the Ace of Cups with your shadow. Get into your body, get into your physicality, and your higher self shall lead you. Soften to love and truth and friendship and bravery and a new way of living your life, a new way of being in this life. Open your heart. That closed off piece of you from that past life can feel like you can't engage. And your shadow, those pieces that have been shoved away and confined, they just need more love. All right, Pisces, this is amazing. Let's get into your self-love questions and your messages here real quick. This has been such a brief reading. So we have gratitude and this candle with card 35. Gratitude. Maybe lighting a candle or doing a candle honoring is something that you guys would want to do. And then we have the card 19 with wishing. And again, with the 19 and the sun, what is it that you wish for? You know, when we have birthdays, we put a birthday candle, light the candle, we make a wish, we blow it out. Maybe simulate that. Do a kind of rebirth ceremony. And finally, list what I am willing to lose to get what I want. So sometimes that is what happens. What are you willing to lose? Are you willing to lose false loyalties? Are you willing to lose false storylines? Are you willing to lose what no longer serves you? Are you willing to lose your fear and step into your abundance? Pisces, this is amazing. But this is the message that I have for you guys about this current archetypal phase. This is your time. The past, present is coming together. It's your time to shine. So without further ado, I would like to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides, to my guides, to the Great Spirit, to your ancestors in this life and your past life. And thank you to the very heart and soul that you carry within you. Thank you to the cosmic wisdom and energies. And thank you to the divine creator. I will see you guys at my next reading, Pisces. I love you all. Bye.